Viva Chile, viva Chile, a Chile quiero, chileno yo soy.
Chile, here and again, Viña del Mar today. Great place to live, and folks, if you're looking for a good spot to live, remember there's more to life in Chile than life in northeastern Santiago, which is a great place to live. I mean, I've spent many years there, and it's certainly very first world and very lovely in a lot of ways, but it also has problems with congestion, smog, more break-ins, and things that aren't very pleasant in any big city in the world. And Viña del Mar might be an option for some people. It's certainly got clean air and much less traffic compared to over there, and well, just let fewer people make it an easier, more desirable place to live. And of course, you have the ocean view in many places. Well, anyway, let me start off this segment and quickly get something out of the way, and that's our slang words for the week. I want to just share with you a few slang words that are common here, and I don't think I brought them up before. One is the word mina. Now you think, well, mina just means a mine, like a gold mine, copper mine, something like that. In Chile, a mina also means a temporary girlfriend or a short-term relationship kind of girlfriend. You think, well, that's a little bit sexist. Well, this isn't a politically correct country, sorry, but just so you're not to your chagrin too much, we do also have minos here. And mino means absolutely nothing as far as I know in Spanish, except that it's the masculine form of mina. And I think we were thinking when they came up with mina that this girl's a gold mine. I think that's probably how they got the idea. But a mino is just a short-term boyfriend. So you'll hear people commonly talk about their mino or their mina, or mira ya las minas, looking at the girls out across the way. That's a very common phrase or word that's used here, mina and mino. When it's not boyfriend or girlfriend. To say boyfriend or girlfriend in Chile, you have to say polola and polola if it's the girl. Ends in an A, it means it's the girl, ends in an O, and it means the boy. And those are people, a polola is a little gnat that flies around your head, doesn't go away, just keeps bugging you, and that's why they call the boyfriend and the girlfriend here. No other Spanish-speaking country uses these two words for boyfriend and girlfriend. So it's important when in a social situation somebody introduces you to their mina. Well, that's just a short-term, could be just a one-week girlfriend. But if it's the mino, that's the long and the short-term boyfriend. But if it's the pololo, that could be a regular boyfriend that that knows the family and actually could someday turn into a novio. And a novio is the next stage up. That's the fiance. In other Latin countries, novio is the fiance, the male, and novia is the fiance, the female. But here, in those countries, it's boyfriend or girlfriend. Here, it's only the really committed ones before they become senora and marido when they're actually married. Another slang word you should know is the word chana. Chana is the woman of the flight day. That's the real low-class, tattooed, poorly speaking kind of guy that's just the trash, the white trash of Chile. It's called a flight day. And the chana is his girl. They frequently use this word chana to talk about just any kind of low-class thing. It could be a very, very sexually aroused girl also, but it could also be a very vulgar, nasty kind of tramp kind of a girl. The one description I found on the internet was kind of humorous. I don't want to read the whole thing, especially because I've been translating it back to English when I'm reading in Spanish here. But basically, you got to have what they call your eyes Chinese-eyed. They call it achinados. They don't have any problem talking about, Oriental folks or people from the Orient as being chinos. In fact, if you're Japanese, you're still a chino, which means Chinese technically. If you're from Thailand, you're still a chino, or a china if you're a girl. So the typical chana, this woman of the flight day, has very long eyes, like Oriental types of eyes, and they have very poor quality, low class makeup painted on them. And it says here, and they usually don't rise above 1 meter 40 centimeters, and they're typically called guatonas, which means they got a big belly, even if they're thin, because they, as my wife tells me, they're characterized typically by people who almost have no neck. Now that you say, well, why do they have eyes that kind of look like they're Chinese? Well, here in South America, the Indians really have that same kind of feature as Chinese or Oriental people do. And of course, there's no real racism, I said, in Chile, except against Indians. And if you're a pure-blood Indian, they just look at you as the worst possible. So these flight days kind of mix over with these Indians, and you'll hear them talking about their chana, and that just means their girl they hang around with. Kind of, I guess you get the picture of the motorcycle biker guy, the real, rugged-looking dude that goes down the road in his chopper, and the girl that rides behind him. That would be the closest thing I can think of coming to a chana in the United States or maybe in Europe. And there may be some others in the trailer trash, as people are called in the U.S., where they live in a very poor trailer, a mobile home neighborhood. The women walking around without brassieres, women screaming, yelling, or whatever, hanging up their clothes on the outside, and are just looking all around filthy and poor when they do so. I don't know, those are kind of strange stereotypes, but I'm trying to paint a picture of what would be the stereotypical idea of this chana and the flight day for a Chilean person, trying to make it a little bit something that you might be able to understand coming from the U.S. or from Europe. So anyway, the word chana. So now you know about minas y minos, y chanas, y pololos, y pololas, and those are important terms when you're coming down to Chile. Enough of that. Let's go back to what we talked about last week, and that was where do you retire in Chile if you've got a certain budget. Now, I mentioned a little bit already about Category 1 and Category 2 folks, and I hope you still have your maps out and looking up and down the country a little bit to see where some of these places are. And you should have the blog entry open too, escapeamericadown.info. Category 4 and 5 people are most of what I deal with in my consulting service and the residency program. That's people that have a net worth of $1 million or more, and Category 5 people be $10 million or more. The $1 million or more, I also say that it's equivalent to $650,000 plus a monthly pension of $2,000 a month. These are people that are buying homes around $400,000 up. Of course, the Category 5 people at $10 million net worth are buying a $2 million house or apartment or on up. And yes, they do have $2 million apartments in Santiago, and they're beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, and even preferable. Some people wonder, why would you want to live in an apartment? It's like buying a condo. They do, because it's a little bit safer. Well, quite a bit safer to live in an apartment. And in the marketplace, per meter squared, apartments are about 20% more expensive than homes in Santiago. For that very reason, people prefer them over homes. And I mean homes, I mean houses that are built to stand alone. It's just safer and less of a hassle, since the maintenance is done by the community rather than the individual. All right, well, these people who come in, Category 4 and 5 people, are going to have excellent benefits no matter where they go. For instance, they're going to have wonderful medical care, and they're going to have wonderful opportunities for social events, whether it's joining country clubs or churches, or getting their children, even their adult children, in the best schools and the best programs for activities like, whether it's ballet or chess or skiing or any such thing. You're going to enjoy the wonderful lifestyle that people have in Santiago, where they can go skiing within an hour drive of their home, where they can be here at the beach in Viña del Mar, or in Zapallar, or Algarrobo, or Rocas de Santo Domingo, or other fifth region beach resorts in about an hour and a half, maybe a little longer for some destinations, like Zapallar is probably 2.5 hours. But in general, you can get out and get away to places and really have a very high quality of life, and always go back to the great restaurants and great shopping and all the things you're enjoying. Now, it probably comes as no surprise to you, if you have that much money and you're coming to a new country, you're going to have a far easier time of getting settled than other people. However, you are going to run into the classism thing, and you'll have to make a decision whether or not you decide that's going to be important to you. Because some people come down and say, look, I don't need a job, I don't need to impress anybody, I'm going to live where I want, and I don't really care what anybody else thinks. And that is just fine. Go ahead and do that. Other people will say, no, I want to be able to get involved with this country, fit in, and I want people to accept me, than the people I'm used to hanging around with. People that are educated, who travel a lot, who have similar experiences in life, especially as you master Spanish. That might become very important to you. And so you might decide, well, I'm going to live in a place where people are going to be, they won't think less of me for where I live. Let's put it that way. And this could be important variables for different people. And again, I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm just saying that everybody's different, and you're going to have to decide for yourself when you come to Chile how you're going to deal with the classism issue. Well, where should you live? Well, if you're in Category 5, excuse me, the places you want to live, is, if you'll notice on the website here, is the La Serena communities. And that's for the first choice. And I notice I'm probably going to run out of time before I get to all these. We'll have to catch up after the break. The special communities up in La Serena, this is where it rains so little, less than 4 or 5 inches a year up there. the Las Tacas community, the Puerto Valero community, and Serena Golf. Beautiful places to go. It's a metro area of about, well, pretty close to 400,000 people, 350,000 people. It's got some convenience shopping. It's not as good as Santiago, and it's not as good as Viña in that sense, but it's still a decent place to live, and about 4 hours drive to get to Santiago and the medical care and the other things we have down here. In the Santiago area itself, there are specific places you want to be, and if you want to have, especially a higher class address, one is Lo Curro. That's the mansion district. That's the wealthiest district you can be at. Somewhere right near Manquehue, Santa Maria Manquehue, just north and a little bit east of town. There's also Santa Maria Manquehue just directly to the left of that if you're looking north, and Vitacura, which is the bigger province that, or comuna that holds both of those things. Now, I've got a few more I want to mention about Las Condes, or about Santiago, like Las Condes, when we get back from the break. You are listening to Red Hot Chile. This is Dr. John Coben on the Overseas Radio Network, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Stay tuned.